Welcome. Looks like we might have a full house. We are very fortunate this afternoon to have Richard and his art. I also, before we get started, I'd like to thank a few people. I'd like to start with Ed Roddy, who is my partner in crime here. He is the one that helps us get organized in the Hall of Art and sends you notes from my committee, which I think everybody is here today, so I really appreciate that. I also want to thank someone who has worked very hard today, and that is our videographer, John Geisel. He's been here since 2:30, getting things organized. This is eventually going to go on the website for Stone Gates, so you will get to see the pictures again. And I also want to especially thank Kathleen. We could not get this whole thing together if it were not for her expertise and her patience with the rest of us. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do so you'll have an idea ahead of time. We're going to begin with me interviewing Rich. And he's seen these questions before, so he's not going to be blindsided by any of my questions. You will have a chance later, after the interview, to interact with him because we're going to have some of his special pictures up on the big screen. And that's at the time that Kathleen will go around with the mic if you have questions at all. And at the very end, we are fortunate to have a little refreshment for all of you for coming. But I do thank you again, and I also thank you for your interest in Rich's paintings, which are very, very unique. So let us get started. When did you start drawing?
Well, when I was a kid, I always enjoyed drawing and doodling, and I carried it over and I started doodling in school. I would draw on my notebooks little Calvin and Hobbes cartoon, or try to recreate some pencils or some inanimate objects doing some cartoon acts. And yeah, so I always enjoyed drawing when I was a kid, and also trying to copy all my comic books. I loved comic books and that all the art in there too. So.
Did you have any time to study?
Yes. Yeah.
Just checking.
Very important.
It's okay now. Yes, all right. Do you have a favorite instrument or something that you like to draw with?
Nothing in particular, but I do enjoy the watercolor markers. They are, have a lot of different variety of colors, and just love using that in mostly. That and the mixed media paper, which is I always like to use. I haven't got into the canvases yet, but still trying to break into that. That's a little bit tougher.
That might be next week.
Yes.
Did you go to art school?
Well, I attempted during the pandemic. It didn't quite pan out. Missed the orientation day for one reason or another, and when I started, they put me in they put me in photography and videography rather than drawing. So my classes started out, and they didn't accommodate what I was trying to do. One thing that I really appreciated getting out of that was big ample supplies of different utensils and art, big art display, and a whole bunch of different papers and pens, and broadened my horizons on that.
Where did you go to art school?
It was the one downtown on Market Street.
Right.
I understand it might be closing now, but yeah.
That's the rumor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't work out. I was also having classes on Zoom with somebody that had a mask on, so it was pretty hard to understand what they were talking about, and try to, do it at home, so it wasn't really worth it.
So you didn't think that actually your art experience at that school was worthwhile, or didn't take you in the direction you wanted to go?
It might have been better if they put me in the right,
The right
right
class.
curriculum.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
You're not a videographer like he is.
no.
Do you favor certain colors when you're painting or when you're doing stuff, or do you just, they come out of your brain, I guess?
No, I just like to use a variety, try to keep it fresh, ever changing. You know, whatever floats my boat that day, or whatever colors I see in nature or something, I might, you know, like to stop over at Michael's and pick up a bunch of different colors there. So, yeah, there's nothing in particular.
Have you thought about trying another media, like oils or watercolors or?
Yeah. Well, I know the pastels, there are ones that I debied in just, you know, maybe once or twice, just way too messy, that and charcoal. But starting with acrylics after the watercolor markers and the Sharpies, but I definitely like to try and start using some oils and more canvases and try to broaden that range.
And Michael sometimes has some good deals for you.
Yes, they do.
Did you start off with one idea and expand it? How does that happen? Because there's so many things going on in your paintings.
Yeah, it's always tends to be random sometimes when I can't think of something to put down. I'll just make some shapes and, you know, just keep doodling till something clicks and looks like something, and then one thing will lead to the next. Sometimes I'll have a plan and go in, and then it'll get altered and, you know, go into plan B and just kind of switch it up, and yeah, so it's always different.
Right. What would be your ideal job, Richard?
Well, growing up, I would always wanted to be in the NHL, but that didn't pan out. Or fighter pilot, but
Well, there's still time.
well, maybe. You know, maybe a coach or a general manager of a hockey team, or no, or doing some kind of art, some comics, something like that. It's always great.
How did you manage to get so many characters and so many variety of lines into such a small space?
Well, I don't know. I kind of just like to, when I think of something, I always like to leave room for, you know, something else that will pop in my head, and try to just jump around. I don't know, just I'll go on Google and just, you know, pick a subject and try to just get a bunch of images and see if I like stuff and just kind of, you know, clip and play there, so.
And make it your own.
Yeah.
Your art is like a journey, and I think it's a gift to all of us. So we thank you for that. And I'm so delighted that other people recognize that, and you've sold quite a few paintings, so that's even better.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's very nice.
So we're going now to move on to the large screen.
All right. So right here we have what we titled "Walk in the Park." Before I had any of these titles for the pieces, well, the way that came about is my family, my nieces, and Janice were over, and they were throwing out different ideas, and some stuck and some didn't. But it was fun to do that little thing there and try to get everybody's feedback. And somebody came up with "Walk in the Park" look, which worked well for this one. And who doesn't love Yogi Bear? I find at times that my designs are rather nostalgic, back in times that make me smile, and a walk in the woods just that. I enjoy the quiet associated with a walk in the woods, and who better to join you than Yogi Bear? It is intended to be cheerful, imaginative, and I hope full of charm. And right here, we have the second one. It was a pretty popular one, Truck Go Bye Bye, which inside news, truck go bye-bye was my first sentence. So that's why it stuck there. Nothing can be more nostalgic than this truck, which has been in service for many years. It simply makes you smile, and for some, evokes warm memories. Yeah, and I had fun doing this one. It was out of a sketchbook that I saw this truck, and then added on the background and a little tree and some fence in the shade. So I did enjoy doing that one. And this next one we I titled Void. Void, by definition, is containing nothing, being without something. It is a scientific term in astronomy identifying the spaces between galaxies, filaments that contain no galaxies. It is also depicted as the feeling of loneliness. And right here, I got a guy standing on the rocks, looking out into a star that's getting sucked in by a supernova and a pulsar, and it kind of resembles an eye there. So the universe, he's recognizing itself, and that we're all stardust and all that stuff. So yeah, I like doing that one too. That was pretty cool. And this next one is also enjoyable. Had a little story. A particular fun one for me in a David and Goliathan theme. The fish victim is being carried off in the mouth by a large bear, Goliath, while he is unaware of the cracking ice and the watchful, waiting eyes of his friends to reclaim him when Goliath falls through the ice. So yeah, he's got the fish here, and his buddies are waiting under here as all this ice is cracking. My initial idea for the title, World of Worlds, because they come from different worlds, and this is kind of like reminded me of the 2013 Tom Cruise movie when the aliens are getting him up into the spaceship, and he has a grenade in his mouth, and he's, or not in his mouth, but throws it up and destroys it. So I was going to give this fish a grenade, but I abstained and just had the cracking ice, so that's where that came from. And this next one here was originally a Christmas card that I made for my sister entitled Family. Two of my favorites, Christmas and family. And like I said, this was a gift to my sister a couple years ago during the pandemic. And I guess this past year when they moved to Virginia, I got one printed out on a canvas and gave it to them so they're hanging on the wall during Christmas. I also did this one on my iPad in some sketchbook app with my Apple Pen, which is really fun to do. You can do a lot of different things in there. But I haven't done it for a little bit since my dog ate my pen, so put a little hiatus on that. Christmas and Halloween are pretty easy to get ideas for. One of the aspects of my work that I truly enjoy is the journey that just one of my pieces may take in the amount of time the discovery may take to find them. So, with this one, I had to start with with Cthulhu in the back there. He's getting ready to smack down on this cat on top of the pumpkin. And one thing led to another where I just started adding on to it this little satanic symbol down here that they're all under, and the little spider with swinging around the zombie hand, and a little bat, and an alien crashed into the cornfield. Some ghosts coming out of the haunted house here. And then we got some aliens abducting some people from the lighthouse in there, and there's a pirate ship back there. And then we got the moon that has a mask that's falling off him up here. And And then when I started doing all that, I kind of got further in, and I noticed that I could make the eyes. I got some eyes in the clouds, and I just made a big smile down at the bottom. So if you could zoom out a little, and you could see the whole, there's a whole big face inside the picture. I got the eyes and then the smile down here. And then on top of that, I just added a little star sipping on a soda, sitting on the cloud for whatever reason. This next one is entitled 23 Elephants. Elephants represent many positive influences ranging from strength and good fortune to health, happiness, and spiritual well-being. They are loyal companions. They remain determinedly protective over their families. They are known to represent happiness, good luck, loyalty, power, and stability. And my mom loves elephants, and can you count them? So it is a little bit of a task. I kind of doubled up on a bunch of them. I got one elephant here on top of this other one here, going down. So I got elephants on top of elephants, and then their ears might be a little different color, and then one down here, and I got a couple sticking out, one red here, one down here. You got one kind of down here, and then they're on top of each other. And then this one guy for tusks has a couple fisticuffs ready to protect his clan. So there's apparently 23 in there. So, and this next one here, I enjoy comic books, like I said. So this one entitled Battle. Battle, frustration, anger, release. So yeah, I enjoyed getting into this one and doing all his muscle features, and especially with the lightning, giving a little reflection off his chest. And I couldn't nail down Thor's face, so I turned Thor into half Ghost Rider. So if anybody's familiar with that, I don't know. But yeah, that was fun. It took me a little bit to do that. And this next one here is entitled Vacation. It's a National Lampoon's Outer Limits Vacation. This one changed lanes while I was doing it a couple times. I think it started off with the sharks were in space. If you could zoom out a little. So the shark has a helmet on. That's why you can't eat the space guy. Just push them up out of the water. And then I got some sharks swimming underneath this space water, I guess. A little guy sitting on his surfboard. And we got a little shark and the octopus with his tentacles kind of springing around. And so it's kind of space, and then up here I have the Earth is also kind of a turtle. It's kind of one of these little Stephen King universes. And he's coming ashore, and their boats also, they're little spacecraft. So as the waves are crashing ashore here, I got the moon with a little star sitting on the moon doing some fishing. A little sand and whatnot here. This next one here is entitled Adventure Time. Another journey through the world of art, focusing on adventure inspired with skiing the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, and through inspiration, imagining adventures of another place and time on the watchful eye of the all-knowing Cardinal. And this one was a picture that I took when we were in Colorado, and I kind of changed it up a little bit. This tree branch that my cardinal's sitting on kind of swirls around with a bunch of other birds on it. There's one there, one here, up there, another one there. And then it swirls all the way back around to the background, and then doubles back, and then it's kind of this little path that comes back up here and the little gate, and put a little dinosaur in there for some reason, with some trees, and a giant bug up here getting ready to come down. And changed the color and put the little moon up here wrapping around another moon, so, just having a little fun with it. This next one here is titled, It's a Joke. It's a representative of comics as an art medium, heroes and villains in vintage comics with a complex drawing style of three-dimensionality, detail, and shadows. I've always been drawn to emotional detail depicted in the comic art. So right here I have a picture of the Joker that I recreated from one of the comics. Just sitting here enjoying Batman smacking Robin for telling a joke that he didn't enjoy. So he's getting a kick out of it. So yeah, that took me a little bit, but I had fun with that one too. And this next one here, entitled Opportunity. Our universe is just one of numerous parallel worlds that branch off from each other, nanosecond by nanosecond, with intersecting or communicating breach possible outcome to an action each possible outcome to an action, the world splits into a copy of itself. Each action is another door, or when opportunity knocks, answer the door. So, yeah, this was going off of theory of the many worlds, and every decision you branch off. So each door, each box here is a door. I got the little handles on them, and they're kind of coming through here. And on top of that, with the big crack on top of space in the background, trying to make it different color, so it's kind of a ethereal, different worlds interpretation, I guess. And I was asked to bring a couple pictures of when they were just without color, and then fully colored in. So this one was another one I kind of interjected with just kind of zombie movie art and also science, a little bit of science here and there. I tried to put the different impossible triangle here, there, and turned it into the sail. It's supposed to kind of be a spaceship with the sails going past Jupiter here. Jupiter's kind of sucking into some kind of black hole, I guess. So if you scroll over a little bit to the colored one, the sail turns into this little triangle thing going through some kind of wormhole, I guess. So it's kind of just all over the place, but I like the colors in this one. And this next one was the Halloween one, where I had it in just pencil and got the ticking to just put some color in it. So that's where another thing led to another, where I decided to add the eyes in the background and switched up the ground there. And this one was another one just off the top, where I like to drive around these Brandywine Valley and like to take pictures. And sometimes I see something I want to incorporate, so I saw this bridge driving up one of the roads. And so everything is there except for the train and the people and creatures. So I had this astronaut running down the street, and this train going over the tracks. I tried to put some graffiti on it, and I don't know what's going on in the left side that makes all this cars start flying in the air towards the monsters, but something's happening. Yeah, and the astronaut's running after his buddy, trying to warn him about the monsters.
Does anybody have any questions for Rich?
Hi. I'm wondering, do you start all of your works with first the pencil, and work out all your ideas with just the pencil first and then add the paint afterwards? Or do you sometimes do it the other way, start with the paint?
I do start with the paint sometimes, but I don't find I have a consistent thing to keep going. I don't get as much enjoyment out of it, I guess. Not a story going on, but I have been experimenting with the canvas and just drip drying some stuff on it and see what it looks like. So getting a little abstract.
Anybody else?
I have a comment, Richard. Richard. Thanks for sharing your wonderful world of whimsy. It's fabulous, I think. And here's another little note off to the side. If you ever decide to go in a different direction, I think you might consider your wonderful speaking voice.
Well, thank you.
It was fabulous. Everything
Thank you very
was
much.
fabulous. Thank you so much.
Has a question up here?
Most of your work in the exhibit is about the same size. Do you ever make anything larger or more in a miniature form?
I do have a smaller pad, which is a lot easier to fill out the page. And I also have a bigger one, but as well as the canvases, I do like to make some bigger pictures, but primarily just this one since it's easy to carry around and, you know, put in the book bag.
On average, how long does it take you to complete a painting to your satisfaction?
Oh, well, that's a good question. It started off taking like a month for the first couple, Boris's elephants and that All Hallows Eve. But they have started picking up and been able to accomplish them quicker, depending on a day or two or less than a week, depending on either or. I like to keep at it every day to try to improve.
Wonderful.
Richard, is there any artist that you've studied or you like to look at his work to get ideas, like a Van Gogh or Picasso or somebody like that?
No famous artists like that, but there's a couple people on Instagram and YouTube, as well as some comic book artists that I really enjoy and get different inspiration from.
Would you comment on why you chose the name Boris for the elephant?
Well, that was one of that might have been the first one that I did completely in color and was happy with, and I think that's when Mr. Boris moved in, and he saw me working on it, and he always asked about it, and I would tell him that I would show it to him when it finally got framed, and yeah, it was nice that he was able to go out and walk the hall to see it completed, which was neat. He was always asking about it. That was his number one.
I noticed that your paintings are completely full. Your sketches are pretty full also. I'm surprised that you could do one in a month as much as you keep adding to it, because you do have to let paints dry a bit. Well, no, not with so much with watercolor.
Yeah, a lot of them are just watercolor pens and different kind of markers and whatnot, so they doesn't take too long to dry.
I'd like to comment on this painting that's on the screen right now. I understand the train going over the bridge, but what's the significance of the astronaut?
I don't know. I was kind of into drawing astronauts at the time. Kind of dreamlike. Yeah. He's on an adventure. You don't know what's going on.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Peter has one.
Rich, my favorite two of your whole group were the elephants and the Halloween one. Particularly because in the Halloween, it seemed to me you put little dots of humor in there, And you could see these little people in that, and they're just having fun.
Yeah.
I was surprised, again, I saw it this morning, the elephants surprised me again, because when I looked at it, the first thing I thought about was India. And the color goes with India, right? Bright red. It's a wonderful picture.
Well, thank you very much. That reminded me that, yeah, sometimes things come together with being very unintentional. I forgot to put one up. It's still up in the hallway if you check it out. I think it's called Blessed. Yeah, it's called Blessed, because Janice was looking at it when we were doing the titles, and she thought that I spelled out the word blessed in it, which I did not intentionally do. And she was trying to point out to us, which it kind of looks like it a little bit. So that's where that title came from.
Well, it did to me, anyway. I just want to say congratulations to Rich. I think we're all amazed at his remarkable talent we never knew was there. And in addition to that, he's also our best bartender that makes the meanest drink, right?
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, and I'd just like to say that I appreciate everybody's comments and feedback, and this was very neat and cool, and yeah, very thankful to everybody that, you know, came up and said something, and I'm very appreciative.
Let me borrow that. I want the last word. I very much appreciate all your dedication to his pictures, and the fact that it's kind of pushed Rich maybe into a new era of thinking and drawing, but he is definitely an original artist. He is his own person. We don't get that every day.
Well, thank you.